CAROL stands for cardiovascular optimization logic, which is a fancy way to say that this bike uses AI technology to improve your fitness in the shortest time possible. Welcome to treadmillreviews.com. I'm Kaylee and I'm super excited to share with you how my training on the CAROL bike has been going. CAROL puts a lot of emphasis on their science-backed training and design. As an exercise scientist myself, I was super excited to dig into the research and see what it had to say. And while I'm mostly impressed, I think the CAROL bike has a few obvious limitations. It's quite expensive, so I'm happy to help you decide whether it makes sense for your situation. AI has been quite the buzzword as of late. As an AI-powered bike, CAROL piqued my interest very quickly. But like a lot of AI things I've tried lately, I was prepared to be disappointed. And then I was overjoyed when I wasn't. Almost every aspect of my CAROL bike experience has lived up to the premium cost. But is this bike really the end-all be-all for exercise bikes? I'll help you make that call in this video. But make sure you have liked this video and subscribed to this channel so you stay up to date on our content. We do our best to make your shopping experience as easy as possible. So if there's a product you can't find a review for, let us know. We'd love to check it out. One of the first features I noticed on the CAROL bike was the really sturdy stabilizers. They're commercial grade and made of heavy steel. The frame of the CAROL bike is powder-coated black with a glossy finish. We had our bike assembled, which you can add to your purchase for an extra $200. The CAROL bike weighs 120 pounds, which isn't super heavy or super light compared to other exercise bikes. I find it a little harder to move around though, because the wheels are on the rear stabilizer instead of the front stabilizer. It's harder to lift the bike by the front stabilizer because the handlebars are in the way. Still, if you need to move it around regularly, it's not too much of a hassle. The saddle adjusts vertically and horizontally while the handlebars only adjust vertically. They accommodate a wide user height range from 4'7" all the way up to 6'7". I'm 5'4" and I set the saddle to about a 6 on the post measurements, so it could definitely go much lower. The saddle and handlebar posts are angled in a V shape, so you get a greater reach when you lift them up or a shorter reach when they're lowered. It can support a maximum user weight of 330 pounds, which is pretty good for an exercise bike. Most exercise equipment has a 300-pound weight capacity. The saddle is decently wide and cushioned, so it should be comfortable for most users. It has a channel in the middle for improved circulation. The pedals are hybrid pedals with toe cages and SPD clips, so they're really user-friendly. You can use any athletic shoes or SPD cycling shoes. Then you have a Q factor of 170 millimeters. I felt very comfortable with this pedal width. And then the handlebars are nice with comfortable grip options too. So I don't want to say too much about the resistance yet. We'll get into that in just a bit, but I do want to mention that the resistance is magnetic. The bike also uses magnetic braking, and other exercise bikes with magnetic resistance still use friction braking. And this unique braking style has one strange effect. You shouldn't pedal when the bike is turned off. When we first got the CAROL bike, I immediately did just that. Not too much, and I didn't hurt the bike at all, but I want to make sure you don't make the same mistake. The CAROL bike has a rear flywheel, which keeps it out of the sweat zone. The flywheel has a really cool design that repeats the CAROL logo over and over again. It's sporty and helps the bike stand out without being too obnoxious or intrusive into your space. Overall, there are a few minor details that I pointed out that could be improved, but the CAROL bike lives up to its price point. It's sturdy and thoughtfully made. The CAROL bike comes with a tablet that is permanently affixed to its holder. You can't just take it off and slide it back into the holder when you want. Still, the tablet isn't as integrated into the bike as other bike screens. There are advantages and disadvantages to this. For one, the tablet is easier to replace, and Carol can always upgrade the tablet included so the bike doesn't become obsolete by being too dated. The downside is that the bike and tablet have to be turned off separately and they connect via Bluetooth. So you'll want to remember to shut the tablet off after unplugging the bike. You should also make sure that the Bluetooth doesn't get shut off accidentally. The bike won't work properly in this case. The screen is 11 inches. While this is much smaller than other exercise bike screens, it's just fine for Carol's training content. If you use the bike with third-party apps, you won't get quite the cinematic experience other bikes have, but I actually like not having a giant screen right in my face. You could also watch TV over the console more easily if you wanted. The speakers on the Carol bike are fine. I can hear everything loudly and clearly, and I prefer to use Bluetooth headphones with the tablet and listen quietly. This is easy to do from the Bluetooth settings. The workouts have a few different audio options and they're pretty basic. I don't like the music very much, with a huge exception for the Tiger audio. If you're doing the classic REHIT workout on the Carol bike, choose the Tiger audio, at least the first time. I loved it. It's an audio narration of your workout that prompts you to flee from a tiger when your sprint sessions begin. I wish the other audios were this style of narration rather than just generic music. Finally, there are 2 cup holders on the Carol bike. That's your only storage. It doesn't have a phone rack or dumbbell holders. I just place my phone in one of the cup holders and it stays in place just fine. The Carol bike tablet has enough content options that I don't mind not being able to see my own device. So let's find out what that content is. My absolute favorite feature on the Carol bike is the content. You can subscribe to Carol to access their AI-powered content. If you don't subscribe, you get a few sample Carol workouts. You retain access to the third-party apps without a subscription, and I really like that feature. Carol's membership is $20 per month, which is way more affordable than competitors. Now for the specifics. You might have noticed that the Carol bike does not have a resistance knob or other physical resistance adjustments on the frame or handles. The Carol bike's bread and butter workout is the REHIT workout that consists of 2 20-second sprints with a very light exertion warm-up, recovery period between the sprints, and cool down. During the sprints, Carol's AI will automatically adjust to give you the most intense workout segment that you can handle. 20 seconds has never felt longer than when I'm performing this workout. There are also variations on the REHIT workout that are lighter alternatives. For the best results, Carol recommends doing the 2 by 20-second sprint workout 2 to 3 times per week. The other training options are supplemental to this. If all you have time for is the less than 10-minute REHIT workouts, that's okay. That's where Carol excels and what this bike was designed for. It fits right into your schedule. There are fitness tests, fat burn workouts, and free rides. There are so many workout options with very specific purposes that I highly recommend checking out my written review or following our link to the Carol bike to learn more. With a fitness test, the Carol bike estimated my VO2 max pretty well. It can automatically adjust your resistance to keep you at a set wattage. There are target rides and zone training. After any of these workouts, you can view helpful metrics that compare you to past performances and to other Carol bike users of similar demographics. Carol gives you a habit score for how regularly you train, a fitness score to represent your cardiovascular fitness, your caloric output, peak power, and energy output in watt seconds. You can also see heart rate trends. All of this information is broken down by the category of workout. The Carol bike has Netflix, YouTube, and Disney Plus for entertainment. For more training, you can work out with Peloton, Zwift, Rouvy, and more. You may need your own subscription to any of these apps to use them. I've tried the Carol bike with pretty much every app it offers. I want to highlight Peloton and Zwift. It works super well with these apps. In fact, it's now one of my favorites to use with Peloton. If you're wondering about the resistance, the touchscreen controls will appear on the screen to let you adjust the resistance to follow the instructor's cues. It breaks the resistance up into 100 levels, so it's super smooth to follow Peloton. The other apps get resistance controls by level, gear, or watts. Carol customizes their controls to what the app offers. It simulates hill training very well in the Zwift and Rouvy apps. With all of these training options, the Carol bike is one of the most versatile exercise bikes. Even if you don't subscribe to the Carol AI training service or decide to unsubscribe at some point, it's a really good exercise bike. All right, so now I'm taking you into my REHIT workout on the Carol bike. So I'll talk a bit about the bike so you can hear how it performs and see how it performs. And then you'll have to stick with me as I do the 2 sprint intervals on here. So right now I'm just in the warm-up section and it's instructing me to do a breath exercise, but since I'm talking to you, I'm not gonna be able to do that. So one of the instructions that you get with the Carol bike is to keep your watts below 20 when you're in a warm-up or recovery or cool-down section. So you're pedaling super lightly. There's almost no resistance on that flywheel at all right now. So the warm-up is about a 2-minute warm-up and I've got about a minute left. Normally I would have the audio on so I can listen to that Tiger audio, kind of giving me a narration on how this workout is going to go. But I'm seeing plenty of instructions on screen as well as a nice visual for that breathwork pacer. All right, so I'm getting down to the last 30 seconds of the warm-up. So one of the things about the Carol bike is that when you get to 3 seconds left in your warm-up or in your recovery section, the screen's gonna go red, and that will cue you to start pedaling really hard, just so you're prepared and you're already going fast before the resistance gets added on. All right, so 5 seconds for me, so here I go. All right. So that 20-second sprint is killer. It's gonna take me almost this whole 3 minutes to catch my breath again. So it's even going a little bit fast for what it wants you to do during the recovery section. Think about this as like a walking break. Super light, just keeping your legs moving. Nothing more. So the other good news is while I'm not a very powerful cyclist, if you are, the resistance is going to tailor to you. So you're going to get an even more challenging resistance on that flywheel. The other cool thing is, so right now I can see what my peak power output was for the first sprint. So I already have a goal in mind of what I want to do in that second sprint. Hopefully I can improve upon it. And that visualizer is super useful. And the bike feels very comfortable, so when you're working hard, you're not feeling uncomfortable as well. You want to use this bike, even if it is just for that 10 minutes. All right, so we're down to the last 30 seconds in the recovery again. I feel pretty recovered, and that's super important with the Carol bike, that you actually recover during that section. Because with that sprint, the second sprint especially, you want to give everything you have left in the tank. All right, so here we go, about to get into my second and final sprint of this workout. All right. So I'm going to enjoy the rest of this cool down. Thank you for sticking with me during this workout. I've done my best to cover everything that this exercise bike offers, but the Carol team is really detail-oriented, so there's more that I've covered in my written review. Check that out if you're interested in learning more about the science and details on the workouts. Whether you're looking for entertainment, personalized training, and a bike compatible with your favorite cycling app, the Carol bike's got it. Carol's REHIT workouts are backed by science and perfect for the exerciser who is short on time. Unfortunately, this bike is quite expensive, so it's not a good option for budget shoppers. Besides the screen size and a few other minor details, I think the carolbike's quality justifies its cost. Thanks for watching my review of the carolbike. We have a link to the bike and to my written review for you to check out in the description. If you make a purchase using our link, it supports our channel at no additional cost to you. If you have more questions, please leave a comment. I'm Kaylee, and thanks again for watching.